Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified. I'm
Yeah.
dabbling now in rom-coms. I
Yeah.
really
That's
am starting to enjoy them. There's
yeah.
some that, I mean, it's like any other genre. There are some that don't work for me
Right.
necessarily or don't, keep me invested, but they're still
Mm-hmm.
good and they are
Yeah.
very entertaining. And it's something light too. Sometimes if you
Right.
read a lot of thrillers, they can get really dark.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, sometimes that's what I like shift toward. Like that's what I want
Yeah.
to. I like to read the dark things that are
Yep.
psychological, and I want to get like behind the mind of the people who are related to this story, whether it's like a
Mm-hmm.
victim or somebody solving it or whatever the case may be. So like I love
Mm-hmm.
Karen Slaughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she does not
We
hold
talked
back.
about her. We talk about her all the time. Like every time
Karen
we
Slaughter
talk,
and
I
Ashley
think we
Wood,
find a way
yeah.
to talk about Ashley and Karen Slaughter.
Ashley and Karen, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love her books, but I
Mm-hmm.
think the thing is that I read some of her standalones and then I read her Grant County series and then I read the
Mm.
Will Trent series.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that are very, very dark in her books.
Mm.
So it was like
Yep.
one after another that I was just reading, like, because she doesn't hold back. And I respect that
Not
about
at
her.
all.
And that's
Yeah.
what I enjoy about her because I don't want to read something that kind of covers or makes light of some of the horrible things that people do in real life.
Right. Right.
Like I don't want to read a book about the popular blonde girl who goes missing and is like,
Yes.
oh, like he just dropped me off at a gas station because he felt bad that he kidnapped me. Because that's not realistic. Like
No.
bad things happen to good people all the time. And I think
Yes.
that the more you read things like Karen Slaughter, the more aware you are of your surroundings and the more
Yes.
protective you are of yourself because you know that
Yes.
these are the real true ugly things that people do to one another, whether it's somebody you know or
Yes.
it's a stranger. So read Karen
Yeah.
Slaughter and protect yourself.
And keep your light on while you're reading it.
Yeah. Lock
Do
your
you ever
doors.
get completely scared while reading? Like if you're like home alone at night, are you ever like, yeah, I'm gonna have to pick this back up tomorrow morning? It doesn't happen a lot for me, but it has happened for me.
I know it's happened before. I just don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know what book it was. Um,
Yeah.
I
I
would
think it
say
was Turn of the Key from Ruth Ware was the last one where I was like, okay, every sound I hear downstairs is freaking me out now.
I could see that. I can see that. You know what the thing is though?
Hmm.
I I feel like a lot of thrillers focus on violence and women being put in either violent situations or being, you know, escaping a violent situation or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
because I read a lot of female authors,
Hmm.
there's that's always something that's very consistent in what I read.
Yeah.
So that might be why I haven't been necessarily afraid yet.
Oh, that's a good point.
If they write a thriller about like a 35-year-old gay man who is like running from a serial killer, then yes, I will be petrified. But right now, I
Oh,
haven't.
someone needs to write it now.
So yeah, someone needs to write it and scare me.
Yeah.
Um, but there are like a few things in books that will scare me if I'm reading it
Hmm.
at a specific time.
Yeah.
Um, like The Snowman by Joe Nesbo
I
has
read that.
like it's really, really good. It's part of a series, but you can definitely read it as like a
Okay.
standalone. But it has that kind of scene of seeing somebody's footprints in the snow walk up to your house
Ooh.
and not walking back,
Ooh.
or just knowing that there was somebody like peeping in your windows. Like that book, Stalker by Lars Kepler, like that has some really creepy
Yeah.
moments in it. I feel like it probably Nordic noir would be what scares me the most, because
Okay.
they're very good at like setting it in an atmosphere that like anything over in like Sweden or anything
Uh-huh.
like that feels like upstate New York in the winter.
Okay,
So
that's a
that
good
could be
point.
why. Um, but yeah, I mean, Stalker's a really scary one. The Chestnut
Yeah.
Man is really scary.
Yeah. I get the Ruth Ware one I was talking about was definitely gothic noir. And
Mhm.
like you're stuck in the middle of nowhere on a huge estate, basically. That type of thrill.
Yeah,
It doesn't get to me that I can't think of anything else has gotten to me since, like, because that was years ago. So I guess it really doesn't happen to me that much anymore.
I do have a really funny story about one time that I actually was scared reading a book. And this is probably not like an exclusive, because I'm sure like I probably told anybody who would listen this story, but um there is a book that I was reading by Rachel Housel Hall, and
Yes.
absolutely love her. And I think this was the
Yes.
first book I read by her.
Mhm.
It was called These Toxic Things, and it
Yes.
deals with a stalker. And I
Mhm.
was reading it late at night in my living room in the dark, minding my own business. And I live out in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York. And I heard like a
Mhm.
rattling, and there was
Ooh.
a man. Like I stood up because I was like, what is that rattling? There was a
Uh-huh.
man standing outside of my door late at night in the middle of nowhere, and he was like yanking
What?
on my door handle.
Oh my god. That would be
He
terrifying.
It was terrifying, but I was also reading the part where like the woman in the book realized that she was being stalked, and like somebody had been
Mhm.
in, or possibly had been in her apartment. And
Yeah.
so I was like, this is not happening. And there was just a guy tugging on my door handle. I think he was trying to, like, he was like motioning me to like open the door. And
Like,
I was like, no.
no.
I
I don't know
watch
you.
like Scream is my comfort movie. I've watched every
Yes.
episode of Law and Order SVU. I've read every thriller
Uh-huh.
out there. I was like, absolutely not. Like, you can go back to
No.
wherever it is you came from, get your
Yes.
paws off my door handle, and like leave me alone. But that was probably the one time that a book scared me, but it had a little help from some like weird
That's true.
guy
There was some
who was like,
external circumstances.
I
Did he
think
just
he
go
was
away? Did you have to tell him to go away?
I was like, get out of here. Like, this is not happening today. I am not letting a stranger in my house. I don't know. And he just kept like motioning like phone, but he was like really, really, really intoxicated. And
Clearly.
I was like, I just don't think that I'm going to take that chance. And
No,
because I
I
could open the
wouldn't.
door, you could be drunk enough to be mad at me for something, or think that I'm somebody else and punch me in the face.
Right.
Or it could be an act, and you could be
Yeah.
completely dead sober and throw me in the trunk of your car, and I will never be seen again.
Yeah. Also, if you're an introvert, anyone at your door is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody
If
showing up at
something
your
knocks
door.
on my door, I'm like, nobody's supposed to be here.
Unexpected. Unless it is the mailman delivering me books.
Yes, that's always a good thing. They don't knock on my door though, thankfully. Same
Sometimes
with
mine,
yours.
I don't know. I guess the mail carriers here are friendly. They will knock on my door. If they can't fit things in my mailbox, they'll knock on
Oh,
my
that
door
makes
to like,
sense.
let me know that there's some like junk out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure like at this point that I've been like working with publishers for 5 years now, I'm sure at this point they're
Right.
like, I'm sick of delivering books to you every single day.
Right. Yeah, we're in like a neighborhood of too many people. So I bet our delivery people are like, here you go, here you go, here you go. They're like, I don't need to do the extra step of knocking, which is fine. We have a Ring doorbell out there because I'm paranoid anyway. So we see when it
Oh, you
shows up.
do?
Yeah. Which also comes from a story I'll maybe tell you off air, and maybe I'll tell it on air sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
But
We'll each share one story
yes,
per episode that is just not related to like books or thrillers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I want to get a ring light, but like I'm
mhm,
also like nervous. Did you
yeah.
watch that? Do you watch American Horror Stories?
I haven't in a while, but I think I know what you're talking about.
There
With
was an because
the
we have yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. It's with the ring light.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Like
they're
the
called, right?
doorbell. The
Yeah.
doorbell. Yeah.
Is it called a ring
You're
light?
thinking of the beauty ring light that I have
Oh,
above me right now. You're mixing your rings.
well, yeah. Well, the
It's
doorbell thing.
I know
What's it
some
called?
people get scared that like the footage could get hacked, but I'm like, I just want to be able to see outside my house. And like technically if it got
I'm not
hacked, I
afraid
would.
of that. I'm
Yeah.
afraid of finding out that there has been somebody wandering around my house probably
Yeah.
for years and I wasn't aware of it until I got that little camera on my doorbell.
That is scarier.
Seeing
That
something
is
that
worse.
yeah, like could you well, I'm not going to say it because I don't want you to like text me at
I'm gonna
3 o'clock in the
wake up
morning and
with
be like, I hate you.
I'm gonna be
But
up at
so I
3.
won't say that I won't say it this way, but I guess yeah, I think that my fear of that would be going to bed and sleeping like a little angel baby and then waking up in the morning and realizing that there was somebody wandering around my house last night.
Yeah.
Not that this would happen. I don't do anything
Right?
exciting enough to have a stalker or to
Me
have somebody
neither.
want to kill me.
Yeah.
So like
That's
when
how
my
I don't. Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
don't
I
think
don't
I've made anyone angry enough.
no, like I like my parents will say that to me, my friends will say it like, how can you watch Scream over and over again? How can you watch
Yeah.
these scary movies and they don't scare you? And I'm like,
Yes.
listen, like I have done nothing in my life that would make
Mhm.
somebody really want to kill me because I'm not that exciting as a person. I just stay at home. I go like I read my books. I work from home. Like you can catch me at like Home Goods or Target getting coffee or like meeting my friends once a week
Yeah.
for dinner on Thursday nights. And
Yes.
like no one's gonna kill me over that.
That's a really good point, and it's actually when I was like younger, I used to be more scared of stuff like Halloween
Mhm.
because that there was no reasoning behind it. So that would scare me sometimes because I'd be like, "Oh, I could have not pissed anyone off and there are people out there that just kill people," but it doesn't scare me as much anymore. But that used to be my
Yeah.
problematic logic where I was like, "Shit, you don't have to do anything." Now I've ruined it for you, haven't I?
Well, no, because they have those like rules, to like how to survive a scary movie.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I don't really drink
Yeah, me neither.
and
I don't not drink, but
I'm not like a teenager that's like hooking up with people in like the middle
yes.
of the woods
Yeah,
somewhere
a
or
really, really hot teenager
a really hot teenager like
with
just
all your hot friends.
making out against a tree somewhere.
That's a good point.
Um, I'm not like inviting like my boyfriend into my house while I'm like supposed to be babysitting. So I mean that logic, but also like
That's a good point.
the those don't like frighten me as much because there's always that twist in like a Friday the 13th movie or
You're
like a
right.
Halloween one where like this is actually the reason. Like it's not that,
Right.
you know, it's not that random, I guess. They kind
Yeah,
of
that's a
try
good
to,
point. It's not totally random. I don't
but
know, but one day we need merch that says not interesting enough to kill, basically, or stalk,
not exciting enough to murder.
or yeah, exciting enough. Yes.
We might be interesting to people, but
Yeah.
if this were like a reality show, they would be like, we all we've done is tape at his house and like
Yes.
one restaurant on Thursday nights.
I would be so terrible. Like the people who do reality TV, I'm like, so you leave the house multiple times a week and you go be with like huge amounts of people and you're willing to have it on camera? Not for me. I love to watch it. Although I haven't been watching it as much lately because I'm trying to read more. And your calendar would tell me not to watch reality TV.
I think reality TV actually has a way of healing anxiety. And I
Oh
know
yeah.
that's like the weirdest thing in the world,
Yes.
but yeah, I think I could have probably been decent on reality TV in
Mm-hmm.
my early 20s when I was an extrovert, but like as I get older, I become
Yeah.
more of an introvert. So like
Yeah.
I could have, went out every single night and had drama and fights and not cared the next day, but like now
Yes.
I'm 35 years old, one night out, even if I like don't drink or even if there's like no drama, I'm just
Yeah.
still like, wow, I had a really good time. But now I'm like
Mm-hmm.
ready to like decompress and like hang
Yeah.
out with myself for a couple of days. But
Yes.
also, like, if there is any drama, it like
Mm-hmm.
really affects me more now than it used to.
Yeah.
And it makes me like anxious.
Yeah.
So that's probably like I would not be good on reality TV because now I'm the kind of person if an argument starts, like I'm really good at walking away,
That's what I was gonna say. My thing
oddly
is like
enough.
I don't do it anymore. So like I would just be like, well, that's what you think. And then they'd be like, that's
Yeah.
not funny.
Unless
Be
it's
more
something like
interesting.
really bad that I like have to stick up for myself for, I just don't see the point
Yeah.
in arguing. I don't blame other people for arguing because if
No.
somebody's going to bring up something that's like you're very passionate about or
Yep.
that they're going to say something negative about you and you have to stick up for yourself, you go right ahead. But like
Yeah.
I am just like arguments give me anxiety now and I'm not like I'm
Mhm.
not going to be that good person on reality TV. I
No.
might say like funny things every now and then.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could just be the one that like everybody's fighting and throwing like wine glasses at each other and I'm like, I'll
Yes.
crack a joke
Basically,
and then I'm going
Garcelle
home.
on Beverly Hills right now. Like they all fight and they're just like always cutting to her and she's like rolling her eyes and like, are we really doing this here right now? But she's amazing. So
I
that's okay.
actually think that Garcelle is she's definitely my favorite of the
Yeah.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but she's way up there on my list of Real Housewives of all time.
She's kind of too good for the show, is what we're saying. That she can actually remove herself, but it makes her perfect because everyone there is so ridiculous other than her lately. Sutton is like okay, but she also just has her moments where I'm like, I don't know where that came from.
I feel like Sutton has her moments, and I don't know if it's editing, but
Mm-hmm.
Sutton has her moments of she's doing a really good job articulating how she feels when she's one on one with like Kyle or someone.
Yeah.
But when
Yep.
she's in the heat of the moment and the argument, she just kind of like is quiet or does these like weird facial expressions.
Weird. Yeah.
And I'm just like, say it. Then just say
Yeah.
like say how you feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know
Mm-hmm.
she's not afraid of people. So just
She doesn't seem like it.
I think the thing that's getting a little old though when it comes to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is the bullying by Lisa Rinna and Erica Girardi
Yep.
is getting so out of hand because I have never seen two people who think that they can just treat anyone how they want to. But if
Yes.
somebody so much as gives them a side eye or
Like,
does anything that they don't
mm-hmm.
agree with, they act like they ran them over with a car.
Yeah, I agree. Rena's out of control. She's been out of control. And then
Well,
Erica's all kinds of messy.
it says something about you when you have people that have gone on the show that have started off their first season of The Real Housewives saying your typical, I've known Lisa Rinna for 20 years and she's always been great to me. And then the
Yeah.
minute the cameras start rolling, you see a different side of her and that friendship is over.
Yeah, it
So
did keep
somebody
happening.
somebody who wants to throw any friendship, let alone a 20-year
Yes.
friendship, under the bus to continue to sign their contract on a reality
Yeah.
television show, like that just
Mhm.
shows who you are.
Yeah, she's crazy. Now,
She's
you
crazy.
have to have your villains, but she is such a villain.
She was a good villain for like a little while,
Mhm.
but now
I
it's
agree.
just she got to a point where it's
Is
like
overdone.
it's just really mean. It's really,
Mhm.
really mean. And she
Yeah.
like every year I find her more and more unlikable because
Yeah.
of how mean she is and like the bullying that she does is just completely ridiculous. And there's also like there's the Fox Force 5, and I'm sick of
Yeah.
that. We
Yeah.
need to shake things up a little bit
Hmm.
because no matter what you feel, if they don't agree with it, like it's just going to be edited in a way that makes the viewers think that someone's boring or
Yeah.
somebody like, is kind of the outsider when it's just them sticking up for one
Yes.
another.
Yeah. That's what Garcelle actually said, that I'm kind of caught up because I was doing some editing that didn't require sound. And so I
Mhm.
just like had episodes like playing in the background all day. But at one point, Rinna, or one of the like OGs, even if they're not literal OGs, was like, I'm just protecting her because we protect each other. And Garcelle's like, we know you guys talk about it any chance you can get. So she actually kind of called it out, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love Garcelle. I love
I
Garcelle.
know. She's amazing.
Kyle, I'm like 50-50 on right now because I feel like she does protect like Rena and
I
Erica way
know.
too much, but there are some points where she is a little bit more reasonable with like the other
Yeah.
women. Um, so I really do like Garcelle. I like Kyle right now. She's usually my
Yeah.
favorite, but it's really
Hmm.
hard to top Garcelle for me.
Yeah.
I like Sutton because Sutton's very weird, and that's what I
I
want in
know.
reality
She's
TV.
quirky.
She's weird, but she's not afraid to stick up for herself,
Mm-mm.
and I really like her.
Yeah.
Um, and I cannot stand Rinna, and I can't stand Erica.
Yeah.
Dorit, I think she means well. Like I think she's probably like the nicest person,
Yeah.
but she's not like bringing much to it. And
Yeah.
I love Crystal. I think Crystal's probably one of the nicest people in the entire world, but I just don't think that
Probably.
I don't think she's meant for reality TV.
I don't think she is at all. That poor girl.
I love her. I think she's drop dead beautiful.
She's gorgeous. She's stunning.
But what they need on TV is the person who, if somebody's dealing with a serious issue like an eating disorder, and
Yeah.
you're all flapping your gums about it behind her back, you need the person that's going to kick down the door and be like, let's talk about you and your
Yeah.
orphans and widows and
Yeah.
you being sued and pretending to not know anything. And let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about Lisa Rinna, who unfortunately, as sad as it is, did lose her mother. But like, you can't use that as an excuse for your behavior because you've
No.
been an asshole for the last 10 years.
Yeah, it was happening before.
Yeah. If anything, like,
I
you
was like,
just have,
Vicky did that too. I know OC.
oh, Vicky. Yeah. Well, Vicky, I like Vicky more than I
I
like Rick
do too.
because Rick
She's a
or
lot better
Vicky's
than
just
Rena.
I think Vicky's just like delusional and like Lisa Rinna's just like calculating.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kyle definitely plays both sides.
Mhm.
So I just think if I was on the cast, I wouldn't trust her very much, but she doesn't really piss me off to watch.
No, she doesn't really piss me off. She just sometimes it's like annoying that she's like the voice of reason
Yeah, yeah.
because sometimes she instigates things, but
I know. She knows
yeah.
how to stir stir the
Mhm.
pot and pass it to someone else.
Those women on the Real Housewives, they can be scary,
They can.
which is why Bravo fits in very well with the Killing the
Yes.
Tea podcast because
Because there's
nothing
also
is
some
more
good people.
terrifying than the
Yes.
women of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, they are the most terrifying. Atlanta, they go at each other pretty hard too, but Beverly
Atlanta,
Hills,
like I love the shadiness in Atlanta.
yeah, it's fun.
It's funny because they can actually like handle themselves
Yeah.
when they could get into an argument and
Yeah.
be respectful of one another the
Yeah.
next time they see each other. And you just don't get that from Lisa Rinna and Erica
No, no, you
because
don't.
they will hold a grudge for as long as they will continue to be on TV for.
Yeah. Yeah. They will. You're
The
right.
best is Potomac. I feel like the best is Potomac. And
Potomac and Salt Lake City. Yeah.
yeah, because and I feel like what helps is keeping like starting off with a strong cast and keeping it for Bravo
Hmm.
because those dynamics like do change a lot when you have a lot of drama in a friendship group. But if
Yep.
you're like switching people out and like trying to up the ante for ratings the next year, it just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. Like if you
Mm-mm.
keep your central cast for as long as you can, those
Yeah.
dynamics will shift and
Yes.
things will happen in like a friend group that
Yeah.
you will only get if like they're actually organic relationships. And I think that's why
That's where New Jersey is like that too, a little bit. It's sad because it's family, but they had
yeah,
that existing like network.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, New Jersey is just like always like crazy for me because I'll be like
Yes.
shocked one moment and then laughing the next. So I feel like
Yeah,
New Jersey is always entertaining.
it is.
Um, I just don't think the show I think the thing about New Jersey is that I don't think it'll ever work without Teresa.
I don't think so either.
You know,
Because
like
I have a love hate relationship with her. There are times where I'm like, guys, just see it from her perspective. And the other times where I'm like, you are so terrible to people.
yeah, and I know. It's like I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with her
Yes.
temper sometimes
Yes.
because there are some moments where I'm like, will you guys just be like on her side for once and realize where she's
Yeah.
coming from? But then
Yeah.
again, sometimes I find myself being like, she wouldn't react this way if you didn't say that. Like,
I agree.
you know what her temper's like, so why would you do that?
Yes. Yeah. I've cried watching Teresa, and I've been like, how did I ever cry when I'm watching Teresa?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
her family stuff is just so sad. Her daughters, like, I feel like it was her daughters that would make me cry more than anything. But
Yeah. When she reunited with her daughters, I
oh
definitely
my
teared up.
gosh, like so intense.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the Real Housewives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're always really like fun to kind of
It is like when I can tell I'm burnt out. And so then like I don't even want to read, that is what I put on, where I'm like, oh, I can just sit here and basically relax for the most part and just like laugh at other people's drama.
yeah, and I feel like the thing is too is that it's either funny or it's so over the top that I mean at this
Mm-hmm.
point it's been going on for so long that you know production has some sort of hand in the drama that's happening.
Right.
So it is almost like, you know, right now they have that podcast for Laguna Beach where Kristen
Yeah.
and Steven are like spilling all the secrets about the show.
Yes.
And I feel like I bet you it's going to be about maybe within 10 years, we'll probably have one similar to the Housewives,
Yeah.
um, in the sense of they're going to start spilling some tea about all of the stuff that Bravo production teams have done to get the drama going or to keep it going,
Mm-hmm.
or where they've kind of like stuck their hand in where they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So
I
either
know.
that or we're going to eventually reach the point that all of the children that you've watched growing up on Bravo for the past like 10 or 15 years
Oh
are
yeah.
going to be housewives themselves.
Or they're gonna do podcasts because I've actually Ashley Malello, who's a kid from New Jersey. I've heard
Mhm.
her on a couple of podcasts, and it is wild, like what she even grew up around.
Is that Jacqueline's daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. I heard
Yeah,
she's very vocal about
she
her
is.
experience with
She
Bravo.
will just be like, "This is what they lied about. This is what they cleverly edited." Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I think that that would be very interesting to hear from somebody who was like a full-time housewife too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like the people that I want to hear the most from in an honest light and not holding back with Bravo would be like Bethany Frankel,
Yes.
because I feel like she still has such a good relationship with Andy that
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
But once she got started, she would definitely like spill her guts.
Mm-hmm.
I want more information from Nene
Yes.
because I love
Always.
her.
She's a whole vibe. I love
I
her.
also feel like I would love to get tea from Carol Radswell.
Yes. I heard her on a podcast once too.
Yeah,
She's very
she kind of
interesting.
flirts with like the edges of like exposing some things about Bravo, but like
Yep.
not fully doing it.
Yep.
Um, and I'm probably not on the same boat as a lot of people when it comes to this person, but I really like Candace from Potomac.
She was wild.
I love her.
Yes.
Um, because she is entertaining, but
She's
she
very
also
entertaining.
really does stick up for herself. And
Yes.
I feel like she's almost like a little bit like a Teresa. Like,
I agree.
doesn't really like sometimes I don't agree with what she does or what she says, but I'm
There
like,
was a season that I felt that way, and then I liked her again.
but then I'm like, the reason she kind of comes at you so hard with that stuff is because
Mhm.
you started it with her first.
Yeah.
In the same
Typically,
like same way that I feel about like Teresa. Like you started in with her
yes.
and she may have taken it over the top and I didn't agree with her words or actions. But
Yes.
Candace like will just like show up and do what she's got to do. But like if
Yeah.
you come for her in the wrong way, then it's
Yeah.
game over.
Yeah.
But
She's
I feel
very
like
like you start it and she finishes it.
yes, yeah. And like I will go as like low as I have to put you back in your
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. She's fun. I do like her a lot.
but I want to hear more from her once she's not
Hmm.
working for Bravo anymore or with Bravo,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah. I agree.
I would love to hear more from her.
Well, maybe we'll interview them one day.
Yeah. Can
Maybe
you
years from
imagine?
now, we'll be interviewing them. We'll be like, remember when we talked about that?
I would love to do that. I would love to
Hmm.
do that. I think the thing that would like break my heart though is like if I was just like, Nini, I've loved you since the day you came on my TV, and then I had a bad experience with her, and then it just like broke my heart.
Dude, you have to be so careful about that. Like, sometimes you do not want to meet your heroes.
No, no, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like the thing too, that's like that really made me excited about being part of Bookstagram was having that
Hmm.
connection with some of the authors that I really loved and I've like
Yeah.
admired their work and then
Yeah.
realizing that they weren't as like genuine as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah. That's the scary part.
Yeah. And it just like is like a bummer
I
because
know.
you realize like, oh, I've spent so much of my time or money like promoting your work or supporting it or
Right.
doing whatever I can to like spread the word on it. And then
Yeah.
just having somebody be a little like full of themselves to the point
Yeah.
that like I don't think that I'll read like there have been a few people that I'm like, I don't think I'll read their stuff anymore, even if I got
Yeah.
a free copy.
I feel like it would be hard if there was really something you like didn't like about them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it is like that's why like I just don't think as much as I love like entertainment in all forms, like, you
Hmm.
know, in media of like books and movies and TV shows and music and all of that stuff, as much as I love it, I
Hmm.
don't think I could ever work in that forum because of
Yeah.
the fact that that would
You
probably
don't want to ruin it. Yeah.
no, I don't want to ruin my little like fantasy world of like every celebrity
Yes.
that I love is a perfect person.
Right. Right. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So that would just kind of break my heart. I will never say,
Yeah.
I will never say who the authors are if I have an experience like that. I will say like if I
Hmm.
had an interaction like that, but I will never say like who the author is.
Yeah.
Just
It's
because
not
like,
worth it.
well, I kind of feel like for how I view Bookstagram, like I don't post negative reviews
Me neither.
because I want this to almost be like a digital scrapbook of
Yeah.
things that I've really enjoyed reading
Hmm.
and the books that have kind of made me lucky enough to have the opportunity to have relationships with authors and publishers and
Yeah.
other, you know, people who read. And so I want that to be like good memories, I guess.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but that's how I feel about this podcast too, is I
Hmm.
feel like this is something where, you know, you and I have a friendship of
Hmm.
these mutual things that we enjoy and we have like a good rapport with each other. But like
Yeah.
as this podcast grows and continues, like our friendship is going to grow and continue, like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, naturally. So that's why, like, yeah, I agree. Like, I'll never like say anything. Like, I'm not going to ever like shit talk a book or an author
No.
or anything like that. Because like this is going to be about like things that we enjoy that like we
Yeah.
recommend. So like I
Yeah.
totally agree. Like, you know, that we won't be like just shit talking
No.
poorly on here. I might,
No. It's not fun. Like it's
unless
not
you're
fun to
Lisa
talk
Rinna.
about what. Yes. Yes, unless you like Serena, then you love it.
Unless you're doing bad things on national television, then it's
Yeah,
fair game.
and just being so shady.
But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
in the
So
bad
I
way.
mean, as long as as long as you're not an author signing a contract with Bravo, then you're safe. But
You're
yeah,
safe
like,
from us.
we won't be like trashing any books or authors or anything
No,
like that.
no,
But yeah,
no. I don't want to spend time on stuff I don't like anyway. Like, I just want to move on to the
no.
next thing.
Sometimes it like feels good to like vent, but like
Yeah,
get things off your chest with like your friends and things like that. But
right.
yeah, because the thing is you and I might disagree on like what we like love and hate, but like when we find things like this that we love so
Mm-hmm.
passionately, then like the conversation can go on and on and on. So
Yeah, I
that's why
agree.
even though we're going to be discussing like thrills, chills, and kills, we're going to keep it
Yes.
positive.
It's gonna be so positive. Only good thrills, chills, and kills.
Only the best things about murder in books and movies.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be it. Movies, books, TV shows.
Hmm.
I don't know what else
Occasional
would pop up.
Bravo rants, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it'll be like all of the things that we're interested in. And
Yeah.
um I think that way too, like some people might enjoy um hearing what like books and movies and TV shows and stuff we recommend. So,
Mm-hmm.
now that we had like kind of our introduction, then we'll
Mm-hmm.
probably like plan more for like what we discuss
Mm-hmm.
going forward. But as long as everybody who's listening has liked this episode so far, then we'll have some pretty
Yeah.
good things for you down
They're
the road.
gonna like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm
if you don't
excited.
like it, then you don't have taste.
Yeah. You just move on.
Uh,
Go listen to something bad.
go call Lisa Rinna.
Yes, she probably has some recommendations. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to follow us on Instagram so that you can keep up with everything we're reading and talking about. You can follow Gare at Gare Indeed Reads, and you can follow me, Kate, at The Girl with the Book on the Couch. See you next week.